The Gauchos Living Guitars. Title of the work: The Gauchos Living Guitars by Joel Castillo. Pseudonym: made by Audiobook. Category: Worldviews, Politics, Culture and Society. Introduction and Dedication. I dedicate this work to be interpreted in the play, just as it was done in ancient times among the Greeks, although they did it in a way that honored Dionysus, the god of wine, and in a sung manner, solemnly sung by the actors and the narrator. So that in the past it was only men who acted. And now, with more freedoms, I can say that people of all genders participate in it. Therefore, everyone who knows the truth will not settle for just listening a little, but will pursue it to the end. So I reformulate my dedication to the truth and only to the personified truth. Song 1. Song 1. The Gaucho Job finds a letter from his father, who undertook a long journey but never returned, and prepares to read it. It is the testament of his father's life, which leaves him as an inheritance and exhortation to sing and to teach to sing the truths of life, and that this, together with love, is what will lead him to peace and success, just as he had them in life. Characters: Gaucho Job, leader of the Gauchos from Jujuy. Rogelio, Job's father. Chorus: may or may not be part of the story. Sometimes it's more like a spectator singing about what they see. In an alternative history of the Argentine Republic, San Martin never existed, and the only source of revolution, the one that was at the forefront of the battle, were the abundant Jujuy Gauchos. The values and foundations of the next new nation, Argentina, would be affected, having other heroes, in which the Gauchos stand out. Today in Jujuy, in the city of Palpala. Enter through low stakes, the Gaucho Job in a hurry and talking to himself. Job: nobody is going to believe me, that I have found a letter from my father, among the family estates, he says as he carries the manuscript in his hand, until he reaches his payment. This is what he wanted for me, and now that he is no longer with me, I am going to honor the deceased. He goes into his hut, and begins to read the manuscript, which had actually been a poem, a cantata about life. Rogelio: it happened in the fields, where I finished my work every weekend, as a day laborer who is happy to earn his salary. I was happy like the happy birds that chirped every day that I went there. Thus I also began to sing. I sang to the sky, to the trees, to the stars I sang to the darkness of the mountain, which to my sound with its black cloak covered my guitar. I sang to the water, that when the sky cries in a good way, of happiness, it spread a beautiful back to the trees where I sat down to sing, and the earth rejoiced too. Every time I finished singing, I was not the only one to respond. Every day the sky spoke to me of new shapes and colors. Whether it's a sad cloudy day or a happy sun, or whether it's stars, they seem to tell me a story every night. Even the animals that, knowing my songs, would come closer and seem to tell me mysteries with their eyes, mysteries that only they represent. And even the soft wind, which from time to time walked through the forest, told me and taught me so many things that I didn't even know myself. And so far I'm still learning. But something has come to my ears, that just as the stranger must return to his homeland, so I too would see the black cloak cover my eyes, my blood dry up, and I submerge myself in a sea of darkness forever, like the one who is going to sleep and dream black. When would I wake up? Like the one who goes to sleep and wakes up, and realizes that a long time has passed. So I also know what death is. But now, my seed, which came out of my interior, just as the rotten apple drops its heart to the ground, I will sing to you the eternal and infallible truths of life. That if you also sing and do them, without adding anything or taking anything away, you will have life forever. Because long life is to serve parents. The choir appears on stage while Rogelio continues reading his letter in silence. Chorus: today we are going to sin. What to sin? A dream song, the memories of a loving father, that fill the heart with sensations. What sensations? Sensations of emotions, things for which the heart can feel the sweet breath of good in summer, or the tragic events of an anti-hero in autumn. Whether it is autumn or summer, what can calm the heart is sometimes something simple, like a little water or a coat. These things have very strong symbolism, a deep story, within a simple story. Like the house that seems poor, but inside you find goods, riches and hidden rooms. This is how our songs are, full of love and wrapped within that love a unique secret that leads you to peace, which is honor. Canto 2. Song 2. Rogelio says that he lost his memory at an early age and that he always lived in the countryside, at the mercy of nature. Therefore, his friends and teachers were only the winds, the trees and the song of his guitar, which taught to be a man. Shortly after they became real people and the community called De los Carias was created, of which he was the judge. But not the boss, but the boss would always be love. Characters: Rogelio, the trees, the winds, the guitar alive. Take 1, 2 and 3. Love personified. Chorus: I. Rogelio, sitting on a rock at the foot of the mountains, happily sings about how he founded his community, to the sound of the guitar. Rogelio: today I worked on my ranch, I was born from I don't know where, my memories take me to the depths of the years. Just as there was always heaven, and there was always sun, so I have always been on earth. Well, I don't have a father or a mother, nor do I know my origin. I came out of nowhere and I go to nothing, like the world I am, this huge garden where we live. I remember having furrowed the mountains, having bathed with the dew of the fields, and having grown in a few years as a man. I made myself a house, on the top of a hill, next to the highest. Like the eagles I put my nest that would never perish. I built it with the best stones I could find, adobe and large stones. I had caulked it with mud, and I made its roof of straw with hay. Thus I dug its foundations, until I found in its foundations argentum, the precious metal more valuable than copper, and I called my hut Argentina. Winds begin to sing. We are your wisdom and your strength, just as the human being cannot live without wind inside, so we and you are one. You must know, you must sin, that a kingdom does not sustain itself. The light is present all day, and while its light shines, everything comes to life, even the darkness shines and the winds blow on the fruit trees that are blooming. So also a kingdom, a government that lasts like the days of the sun, is the one that is founded on love. Put love as king of your government, and become a leader in his name, and you will never have sadness or pain, and your dominion will be eternal and no one will tear it down. Live guitar raises its voice. Here comes love. The winds bring it with the breeze from the mountains, which makes your hair wave and makes the hill die fresh. Love he introduces himself, raising his hands with a big friendly smile, and adds, "Oh, what a cozy place, what a beauty that I hear with my ears. I am love, and I am the same as you, Rogelio, so you will be governor of the trees." He points to the trees. Listen to them sing while people are made for you. The trees they sing in chorus while they dress as lame men and women, and say, "Life is a beautiful gift, and what more can we ask for? But be happy, like the worms that were buried in our roots, there our strength was renewed in the water, and by the water we subsist. And now our root is love, and our water is the music that we will sing into eternity, because what was in our hearts has come to light." K1 kneels and shouts, "We swear eternal loyalty to you." K2 raises his hands to heaven, proclaiming, "Because life is not material but spiritual." K3 prostrates himself to the floor, saying, "Love will live forever." Rogelio he gathers everyone in front of him, and speaks. From now on, the community of the Carias will be serene, for there is no one like the Caria, since Kao means only Lord. We are unique in the world, without us the world would not have peace. Although now they are free to choose, if they want to follow me, that I am in that place of love, or they want to go and do what is not right and is against what we sing here. Well, loyalty, like the water of the rivers, which cannot be taken from any other place, but from the heart of the mountains. Likewise, obedience cannot be forced if it is not what comes from the heart. I leave them free to be with me or not. Everyone gives way to the chorus, which comes jumping in and out, making a circle in the middle of the other characters. Chorus. It is said that life is a very repetitive dream, and the only thing that makes it interesting is being able to fall in love with it yourself. The things that make us feel good are not always what we believe. Whence, what are they going to tell us? What you established is the only thing that has led us to peace, on such a long and little-traveled road, where any other deviation only generates sadness and pain. The communities, how good they are. They sow the earth with their music, plow it with their heat and wreath it with their words of love. And what is life but one more ill-told dream? Because if you want to investigate, you must know that real life is more wonderful than you imagine, and what you imagine cannot be compared to what awaits you out there in the world. It is like telling the ant to explore outer space, or telling the human being the reason for his emptiness. In short, knowing life is loving yourself and showing it to others. Canto 3. Song 3. He commemorates in beautiful songs, when the Carius community was one, everyone watched over a government of love and music that incited good. The scepter of authority and representative of love was the guitar that he himself had carved with love. Fabian, who would be one of its first members, rebels. Pretending to have a better government, he steals the scepter and goes to the abysses of Majorca with 250 Carius with him. Characters: Rogelio, the Carius; Fabian, the traitorous friend; rebel Carius. Chorus. I. Rogelio remembers with nostalgia, with great solemnity and a voice broken by tears, the story of his beloved community of Gauchos Carius, this time standing in the local grocery store with his guitar on his leg. Rogelio. Look how good it is to sing. Singing is the basis of our heritage. Just as birds need worms to live, and trees in the field need worms to survive, so our song is sustained by the sweet caress of sincerity, the sincerity of a pure love to the other. Fabian begins to dance in front of everyone, saying, "For many years I remember, as if I saw myself in a mirror, how I was the most chosen tree in your entire garden. You bathed me with the dew of the mountains, in the midst of your music. Your songs made my soul and spirit happy while my cup stood out among the tallest bushes and trees." The Gauchos begin to form a circle, singing, "Oh how good it is to sing. Clap and sing in. Let's sing in choir." Rogelio makes his melody stand out from the others and addresses Fabian in these terms: "Finished with beauty, made in the image of what is good, founded on love. I chose you first of all the Gauchos, you sang and danced face to face with my son, and you came to have the same status as him." He would be moved and he would tell you secrets that whoever they did and pursued would live forever. "For this reason I exalted you to the highest, I adorned your branches with the wool of the most beautiful flames, I placed large and beautiful stones that digest the water up to your roots, so that your conduct always walked in perfection, even if it had wished that I would always follow your heart." Well, that is a path that goes around the mountain, until it reaches the chasm. "But now, my heart breaks for what you are going to say," he begins to cry. "Say it now, your time has come." Fabian gets nervous, and begins to speak eloquently. Just as good times come to an end, day is followed by night, and where there is light there are also shadows. You must know, my beloved Carius, that governments end and have their end, just as it happens in the capital of our country. I believe that what is good is not always going to be good for everyone. And the bad, it will not always be bad for everyone. This is why I propose that we hold a vote and choose which government is the best, whether that of light, or that of good and evil. Because you can't allow us to always be told what to do and what to say or what to sin. He stands still waiting for an answer and adds, "Who is with me?" The confused curious look at each other and speak. Although we do not know, just as light itself does not know darkness, we know that happiness and joy are only in love. Love is life and peace, and in it is justice. The government that you propose will only give us sadness, death and pain, as well as a sore that does not heal, but swells and eats away at the body. The rebel curious are walking and stop next to Fabian, talking about his decision. A tyrant is anyone who doesn't want to leave his government, so we're leaving. Rogelio looks for where the live guitar is and asks, "Where is the guitar? For he who owns it will rule all." Fabian raises the live guitar and exclaims, "I stole it from you while you were sleeping, and with this we leave and we will found a better government." Just like the pencil, we can say what is right or wrong, and the guitar will sing what I tell it. Rogelio gets up and takes off his crown, to which everyone looks shocked by what he says. My heart broke into 1,000 pieces and cries blood, my entrails are moved and my love makes me speak. How can I not remember their sweet songs? Well, it was I myself who saw you born, and I was always kind to you in letting you know true happiness in this life. And now, how I would like, how I long to see them repentant coming crying to my arms. I would surely forgive them, so that they learn what mercy is. Unfortunately, as they are not going to do it, since their heart is closed, just as bad weeds destroy everything. I have no choice but to stop governing. Everyone looks expectantly, worried lame and waiting rebels. But it won't be you. But my son will be the one who will rule, and in his hands the guitar will be decided what is good for everyone. Addressing Fabian, I had said that you were like my son, my friend in the fence of my tree. But never that happens, because from now on you became my enemy. He cries and points at it. As long as you have the guitar in your hands will touch the precious and the darkness will devour it. All the happiness of your government will vanish, because you put your pleasure in doing what is bad. Because of you, a person will not be able to differentiate between the thorn from an apple tree, nor darkness from light, since you have changed good for evil. For this, there will be no love in your government, but hate, suffering, violence, destruction and death. You said my power is in the darkness, because with it I defeated it. But your victory will not be eternal, because you do not have something that we had, which is love. My son with love will recover the guitar, because his power is in the light. Fabian begins to leave with the rebels next to him, and mentions, "We're leaving, could you also follow us? Can't you see that these are my children now and they reject you?" Rogelio looks at him with a loving smile, refuting, "Everything I do for everyone's happiness. The sun rises for everyone, and even if I never come back here for following you, or even if everyone rejects me, I will not give up or stop fulfilling what I have now promised, which is to return to the world a just government of happiness, peace and love." The choir comes dressed in black tunics, then they take them off, trampling on the black ones and put on white ones. They sing, "Oh, Rogelio, your life attracts us, intrigues us, we want to know more about you, even if they take away merit and light from what you have done, even if it makes us people with a bad reputation, the opprobrium of bad, very bad people, of whom we will not fear until you have returned with confidence or have returned peace to the government that you made. Because who is ashamed to sing about everything that has happened to us? Let him be ashamed of doing wrong, but we will not be ashamed of you. Rather than showing admiration with our masks and costumes, we want to let you know how valuable is us, which is the heart." Canto 4. Song 4. Rogelio laments that his friend wants to impose a kingdom of perversion and immorality. since this would bring sadness, confusion and death, not only to his curious, but to the whole world. So he goes on a journey to recover it, and if he didn't come back, his son would, because he's exactly the same as him. Characters: Rogelio, compassionate; Caius, sad; Fabian, corrupted world. IV. Rogelio climbs a mountain and begins to sing, looking at the cities of Fabian from afar, and speaks to himself. Few are those who know, no one has knowledge. It is said that from that day on, a giant died among the abysses of Mahulaca. His body was used to make a cemetery, which is why it was called the abysmal sepulchres of Mahulaca. Years have passed, days have passed. Those who are under Fabian's government are like the shadows, who are here today and gone tomorrow. Every day people die and the wounded of the city cry out. But no one hears his cry, nor is there helper who helps his fellow man. The city exploded, they were filled with foreign people, and the people in that city soon became towns and cities. They look like ant nests, seen from afar, from so many people they are. They work, study, do their homework, apparently everything is fine, but in reality there is sadness, there is an emptiness in their hearts. They are like those beautiful apples, which appear beautiful to the eye, but inside they have worms, rot and a lot of filth. I wish they knew my government, because here the citizens, although few, are like stones that do not perish, and their days are the days of the trees. Here our government is fair, for which we are overflowing with peace like the vines in the season of fruit. Here there is no one who is the greatest, and there are no hierarchies, but we are all brothers here, and the only king is love. Justice is done according to the truth, and there are no respecters of people, neither the poor nor the rich, but both are judged fairly. Everyone is told to learn even a musical instrument and to sing about the beauty of this place. Food is abundant since we all share what we have. No one accumulates wealth that is blown away by the wind and left for no one. The fear of doing wrong is always present, since without it peace could not subsist, and each one loves his fellow man, for which there is always respect. We always work to maintain the fields and raise our animals, so we are in good health. Instead, their rulers are like fattened pigs, because they leave nothing for the poor or for the destitute. They do justice to no one, and when they die, both rich and poor go to the graves. Their flesh is clothed with worms, their skin is gnawed away, and they are exposed to corruption. Just as they were in life, in their hearts, only they did not realize it. Because just as coffins are beautiful and pretty to look at, so inside they are full of debris. So are all those who never had love in their hearts. Grand cloudy days cover their skies due to deforestation and air pollution. Food runs out, and because of this people sleep on the streets. The most religious say they have love and put on masks to attract people's admiration. But when they are removed, they are ferocious lions, ready to kill sheep, lambs and goats. This is his hypocrisy. Wanting to dress a voracious condor as a llama, and wanting to attract everyone's attention with these things. The Caius approach him sadly from behind and speak to him. "What are you going to do, Rogelio? We support you in everything you do." Rogelio begins to go to the city. While he is talking to them, "I am going to recover the guitar." The Caius answer him, "We are waiting for you." Rogelio finally arrives at Fabian, after a long trip to face him, and tells him, "I came to recover what is mine." Fabian responds, "What would you do for him? Don't I already have everything?" Rogelio affirms, "I will give my life." Fabian, surprised, asks him, "Will you give your life for the guitar? And if I don't give it to you, what will happen?" Rogelio speaks with a brave tone, "If you don't give it to me, after this, my son will get it back, and everyone will know that what wins here is love." Rogelio's words end here. Rogelio disappears from the stage. The choir introduces itself crying, although they begin to sing and their faces brighten little by little. Today is a day full of lamentations and lamentations. We don't know why, if because of having broken Rogelio's heart or, rather, for the sad and tragic fate of Fabian. Dear Joel, loved by many, he who was and had been like the friend of the mayor of this town, of the son of the governor. Our hearts had been moved by such beautiful rural arts, cows and sheep here, goats and rams there. From Himalaya they brought 7 llamas to make a great banquet, and when it was celebrated, the meat of the lambs was not lacking. Who would have thought that his best friend, the friend of his soul, would leave him and go by mistake? Those who once had been like dear brothers separated in the gray sky, and now we have a doubt that will soon be dispelled. Because, is it good to trust another human being? Isn't it better to trust only in healthy love? The words of this song will forever be in our hearts, and in that of anyone who knew how to appreciate and interpret them. And likewise we will recreate them again in each rehearsal, each work until everything has been fulfilled, until love has triumphed. Where the cold winter nights will wake up everyone in a happy spring heat, together with its fervent sun and an endless dawn of days. Canto 5. Song 5. A song that commemorates unrequited unconditional love. Job, when his father had gone in search of the living guitar, helps a woman. After that he gets to know her better and falls in love with her. Her family separates them, but they get engaged. One day we can be together. Characters: Job, Moon. V. Job sings in a tanga square. Job, nostalgic, sings, I remember having saved a woman. The woman is from a family that had belonged to the Carius, only they went with Fabian. She was about to die at the hands of those evil beasts. After killing the beast I cured her in my house. When we met, he was the same as me. He had the same face, eyes, legs, arms, height. It was like seeing the moon and the sun in a mirror. He told me his name is Luna and I told him my name was Job. But soon her family found out about our new life on top of these hills, and they took her back to their home. She and I promised to see each other sometime, and from time to time I can hear the whispers of her music in the wind. She will finally return and everything will be better. Sing homing pigeon sing. Appears entering the door of the establishment near the square, to finally go out and face each other. Luna with a big smile, followed by the song. Time has passed and the memories of my childhood are the same as yours. Next to the meadows of the mountains, while I walked crying through their furrows, I saw myself in a pond in the water, and in the reflection I saw you and your eyes. How much I miss you. Every day I sing and I hope you always hear my song on the air. I will search for you forever, as the moon searches for the sun. Beloved of my soul. Canto 6. Song 6. The Gaucho Job, reading this, decides to embark on a journey alone in search of the guitar, since she had the power to govern. When she gets to Fabian, he starts tearing her up, to which Job says he's going to do anything for her. To which Fabian replies that he will give it to him in exchange for his life, to which Job hesitates a bit. But finally, thinking of his Carius, he makes the sacrifice. Characters: Gaucho Job, martyr. Fabian, tyrant emperor. Lead guitar, suffering slave. Saw. Job starts singing in the center of his town, saying, I feel like I've been in a long dream, in incredible darkness, preparing myself more and more for this endearing moment. Light overcomes darkness and the time has come to go out in search of what belongs to us, not only by right but for life itself. Happiness and self-love. No one yet knew when my father would return with the guitar, but I will fulfill what he told me. I will not give up until I fulfill his promise. Even if the whole world rejects me, I am going to undertake a journey of dangers, affronts. I will travel through lands that do not see the sun, nor do they know the light. I will go into the depths where no one wants to go through cowardice, just to recover our beloved guitar and give life and happiness to all things again. Fabian, seeing Job arrive, mocks him. Did you dare to come here like your father? Look what I do, start to break and hit the guitar alive. The living guitar laments, I am suffering, like the slaves who await their freedom or even a miserable pay. My eyes are red from crying so much, and my mouth, my voice, has become hoarse from shouting so much, but there has been no one to listen or respond. I tried, in my desperation, to find pleasure in the mistake, but that pleasure ends the moment I finished doing the wrong thing. It was a pleasure that only lasted a moment, and the rest was a cold night with a blood-red moon, hoping for better but only going from worse to worse. I said, when will I get up from my pain? But this empire of Fabian has only brought harshness and depression to my spirit, among which there is no calm or peace. It was then that, seeing that no one was coming to get me out of Fabian's hands, I looked towards the abysmal sepulchres and said, I was born entirely with errors, and with them I will go to the sepulchre. Well, empty-handed I came into this world, and empty-handed I'm leaving. Only love can save me, but my hope died. I called the worms my brothers, the grave my house, and death my father. The only thing he knew how to sing were the songs of the drunkards. My chords were no longer harmonious chords, but tense and disparate. My music was nonsense, in a heap of riot that they called the real music. But a little of what Rogelio had carved on me remained, because Fabian's hands erased them harshly. Now my eyes, Job, my whole being can see you, but I am still not in your hands. I would like one day to have that promised peace, which your father told me as an omen. Job begins to move towards Fabian with a sparkle in his eyes, and says to him, how I have longed for this day. As the birds cry for the waters and the plants wait for times of good rains and a drought, so I have approached this place. I descended through a gloomy valley and nobody knew me. They looked at me like a toad from another well. My appearance contrasted with the bleakness of the valley, a white patch in a gray world. That's why when the shadows saw me, they murmured against me, will the rising sun conquer what was once an eternal night? Wasn't the dense darkness that covered the valley much more than the dim light that was beginning to clarify and illuminate with its light? Everyone made fun of me. I have not had rest from doing so much good. My body is not fit to help anyone, nor do I worry about my health. However, I will not rest until I have helped. Because since I arrived, no one gave me a little water to drink, but I will give what I don't have to drink. Nobody gave me a moment of rest, because under my eyes there are bags, from not being able to sleep. However, I will rest. My body is sore from so much shouting and helping, and I will continue to do so until the end. The people who dwell in the desert of this land have told me to desist, for my own good, from what I am about to do. Because they say, can you help others if you yourself are not well? Wouldn't you better worry and help yourself better? Well, it is better that you heal yourself and then help others. But I am not like that. I have always had love in my heart. And that love is what gives me the strength to continue, and I will not rest until I have recovered that guitar at any cost. Fabian looks at Job with a mischievous smile, and speaks to him in a sinister tone. If you want her so much, I want you to do something. Take off your clothes, let me see your face crack as you drown in a dream, in a sea of darkness that will never end. It is said that blood is life, since blood is life like water. Give me all your blood and the guitar will be yours. Job puts his hands to his head, hesitating a little, and he strikes a break pose and speaks forcefully. Of course, I will. He takes off his clothes and lies down on the stone. Fabian murmurs in Job's ears, it's already night and this is where I have my power. We'll wait for your friend for the day to save you, because there you have your power. He hits him over the head with the guitar. Let's see if you can stand like a dumb man. Job closes his eyes and speaks in a low voice. Everything I will do for you, my beloved guitar, and when you are in my hands, your chords will give light and life. Fabian angrily yells, I'm already tired of you saying those things. I'm going to leave you disabled and you won't be able to play the guitar. He takes out a knife and begins to pierce his left hand. Job begins to spit blood while Fabian pierces his right hand, and dying he speaks, I have fulfilled my promise, my beloved father, now I'm leaving but I'll return. He remains unconscious. Fabian is scared and leaves the guitar lying next to him, exclaims frightened. It seems to me that he has died, but what have I done? As gloomy days without sun, in which the sky is frightened, so I too have been frightened by what I have done now, and why should I do it? If it was what my heart longed for. Now the guilt does not leave me, and my conscience rushes me to leave this place. He runs away. The chorus enters slowly as they see Job rise, clutching the guitar. They sing as they watch him leave. My joy, my peace and all the things I once believed cannot be equaled to this moment. Because who would dare to do such a thing? Who would dare give up everything for someone who, in the eyes of all, did not deserve it? We have traveled a lot, we came from different parts of the world. Your language seems strange to us and your voice brings us a new accent. However, we feel a strange sensation of peace, an inexpressible joy every time we want to assimilate it into our phonetics. Without a doubt, this is the language that originated the speaking of all peoples, and all cultures have an origin, sometimes uncertain, but that lets us hear. What is it for? Tell us. What is the use of a human being having all the feats in the world or having all the goods, but is self-centered? We have learned, we have heard, that humility is what makes a true man, but not in front of many, but in front of one, of love. Or, how does something change? Let us know. How would the fact that someone feed the poor or be of unconditional help change something that no one called good has given, if this is done to cause admiration and not out of genuine love, even if no one sees it? For this reason the eyes of every human being will marvel when finding two treasures in the same stone. The one for having seen or found some man or woman who is capable of giving everything of himself, not to attract attention, but only to exalt the love that is in him or her. The second, for having had a great charge on his shoulder, and for having shown himself so humbly in that position, that not even one of them has realized that you're important. Only love. And what is love? Let's look at the sun. He always does good even though the world moves away from him, and it is just when it moves away from him that he begins to cry red tears of blood, and darkness comes for having moved away from him. Although the darkness tell us that it is the sun that moves away from us, it is not so. He gives us his warmth. Although the world always flees from the sun, that is love. Canto 7. Song 7. After the sacrifice, Job returns wounded to his homeland. He is greeted with applause and festivities. He begins to sing how good it is to give one's life for a just cause of love, when suddenly Fabian bursts in, saying that he will destroy all that remains of the Gauchos. To which Job, raising the restored scepter, orders them to leave the palace because within 7 years they would have a war. Characters: Gaucho Job, hero; Fabian, anti-hero. Chaos, outraged by Fabian. VII. Job sitting on the royal throne. A good democracy can be compared to the best monarchies that have ever existed, as Aristotle mentions, in the palace, playing the guitar and singing in front of his people. Today I'm going to sing how great history I had to face to recover what was ours. It is a story of unconditional love, which are stipulated in songs and laws about love for one another. Once upon a time, it really existed, the one who was my friend to me. Together we spoke all the secret things, and even the most hidden of my heart I declared it to him. He was my mouth and my very image, because I ordered him to teach the people all the things that I told him, and there was no one who did not obey him or anyone who contradicted him, because they were not his words, but my words. It happened that the one I loved the most betrayed me. He broke my heart with the bonds of rebellion without compassion. He took the scepter of our equity, the staff of our love, the one that dominated our entire territory, with stories that commemorated our homeland, something that would be repeated until the end, until there was no longer anything that contradicted my homeland. I followed him with great courage, and there was no one else with me to help me. I ventured like the miner who goes into the terrible caves, behind the one who took the patrimony that belongs to us. This patrimony is ours. We will not give it to conquerors, nor will children of strangers take possession of it, nor will they impose their tyrannical empires on our land, trampling on our culture and our people. When I found him, I took pity on him, seeing him in that dark as if dying, and the guitar in the same condition as in. I begged him to give it to me, but he wouldn't. Only a sacrifice could make him give it to me. I bought the guitar with my blood, and I don't regret doing it. At that moment Fabian enters, to the court of the palace, and very angry he begins to speak in front of everyone. Fabian, from the bottom of my heart and from my native building, from the idea that arises from my bowels, I curse you, to you and all the poor eat with you. Because I must say that to the bottom of my heart will be my hatred for this your house and for you. I hate you, Job. The curious, outraged, are surprised at such audacity to come to face Job in his own house, and they say to him, "We don't want people like you around here, better go." They are interrupted by Job, who is moved and cries by Fabian's homeless appearance, and gives him one last admonishment. "My brother, you have lost. The guitar now belongs to me since we sealed the deal with beloved. Surrender peacefully and you will have a place in jail, which is better than death." Angry Fabian refuses and threatens, "No. But I will kill you and all yours. We will have such a war that has never been seen in our history." Angered by such severity of words, Job speaks with authority. "Shut up," the guitar cries out, "for justice for what you have done, and for its power you will be trapped in the abysmal graves until we have a just war in 7 years. Go away and do not come back until everything is fulfilled." Fabian lowers his head, ashamed, while the curious take him away. Canto 8, Song 8. The war begins, but Job has trained his curious to fight with musical instruments. Instead, the enemy army, allying itself with the entire territory, goes out to battle with firearms. The battle begins, music and swords of war. Everything ends when a great tremor splits the earth, where all of Fabian's allies fall. Job emerges victorious. Characters: Gaucho Job, war squad leader. Curious, musical warriors. Fabian, hateful enemy. Enemy soldiers, armed to the teeth. Chorus, narrates the great battle. Lyric, the battle is about to begin and all the curious are armed with musical instruments. Job encourages them with his words, standing with the guitar in hand. Job encourages them with his words. 7 years have already passed, the war is about to break out. Our brave soldiers are and no one can stop them. Look how good it is to fight for the homeland and the truth. We don't want slavery, nor corruption, nor the communism that Fabian vociferates. Let's cheer up and be encouraged. Let's fight for the love of the homeland, that the rest does not matter at all. The curious become happy and begin to celebrate, saying, "Yes, we are going to win, because our good homeland has always fought for rights and love. Long live the homeland." Meanwhile, from the other side of the stage, Fabian and his soldiers look with mocking looks, who also encourages them by speaking, "Look how those fools celebrate. They have always been characterized by announcing what will come beforehand, and they have sang victory ahead of time. What do you think if we silence those joyous songs of joy and joy, and change them for lamentations, curses and lamentations? And so we will silence his voice forever. The soldiers shout, raising their firearms and bladed weapons. Rebel soldiers swell up. We are always united, and you have called with you all the surrounding towns to fight against this so small region. That will make us win, and we will punish them like the dogs they are. They begin to laugh and mock while smoke fills the stage. The choir, dressed as the cavalrys, begins to narrate the war, and the battle begins. From the north, dawn has broken and morning is approaching. Quickly a bundle rushes from the horizon. They have dressed as bears and are as ferocious as condors. Their flag, the red flag, is with communist symbols. From where the sun rises, the most solemn campaign that has trodden our lands appears. Dozens of brave chariots led by a fearsome and powerful gaucho, all dressed in white garments only, with a red belt that encircles his forehead and the chest. How the animals have shot, silence has been lost. Guns and fire bombs explode everywhere, while the sound of the horn continues to sound. The horses, more than being frightened, take flight and stomp firmly on the ground, bellow and neigh, ready to face the battle. Job advances like thunder mounted on his white horse. While there is confusion on the enemy side, their own weapons fail and they begin to shoot each other because of the smoke that surrounds them all morning. The orchestra's melodies fill the entire stage with emotion, so much so that it seems that there is only music. The guns stop, they don't want to shoot anymore. The sun stops and gets closer, gets so close that everything starts to burn on fire. Fabian is about to throw a grenade at Job while shouting with great arrogance, but what happened? The earth split, that happened. And not only the earth, but also that great sea that is above us, now falls, because the sky was split in half. But it does not fall water, but fire. All the rebel soldiers are fleeing and falling. The great enemy army is burned to the bone, and at that moment Fabian falls into the earth. The things that his soul had desired are no more. He desired and wanted to strip all the powerful in the world from the highest positions. He planted a government that only led to the killing of many people. But what is now of him? He who had conquered the world fell, and there is nothing left of him. His heart broke in the middle, and his affliction is beyond compare. His life has been nothing more than a lie that he himself composed, and no one will want to follow it anymore. Here where this song ends, here their days end, forever. Canto 9. Song 9. The happy hosts celebrate the victory. The news spreads throughout the world, and Job becomes the president of the nation. Many kings and presidents come to see him, so he moves to the coast in the south. The song is sung every year by millions of foreigners who come to date, since Job is always voluntarily re-elected by a government of peace, love and justice. Characters: happy hosts, celebrating. Job, president. Kings and presidents, with gifts. Foreigners, annual tourists. IX. From the Congress of the Argentine Nation, speaking live to the entire republic, President Job today. President Job gives his speech. Many years have passed since that incident, in which the tyrannical leader Fabian wanted to conquer the new world and end the old world. But now that you have voluntarily elected me as your president, I swear by the name of love, that I will not fail you of the love that has brought us here in all my days. Now I invite you to speak with the kings and presidents who have come here to salute our nation in this world historic event. The presidents and kings appear in front of the cameras with those present. Kings and presidents speak in front of the cameras. We have come from all over the world with these gifts and these agreements, not for you to ask us for something, but rather for us to ask you for things. Since with a country like yours, and a power that is an example to all the others, there will always be peace in all our years of life. Let us welcome all foreigners, immigrants and tourists who have come to accompany us to make a climb every year. Foreigners and tourists begin to celebrate and shout happily, "Long live the homeland! And long live the Argentine Republic forever!" The choir says goodbye singing, raising their hands and waving, while the other characters stand next to them to say goodbye. The choir sings the last cantata. We have seen and heard things that will remain engraved like gold in our hearts, as stones are carved with an iron chisel, so that we will forever dream of them and they will accompany us on our evenings and on our lives. Well, they are a letter of love and a real opportunity, if only we knew how to attend to them. And your job, you will be re-elected president for all your years, not by imposition, but because you knew how to earn the voluntary devotion of your people. With unconditional love and unmatched peace for pursuing the truth and finding it. They all bow and leave one by one from the stage. End.